King Von's mother inherited $20 million, and the way she lives today is absolutely insane. We are talking about a woman who spent years holding her family together in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, watching her son grind through circumstances that would have broken most people, and who is now on the other side of all of that in a way that is almost surreal to look at. The house, the security, the financial freedom, the complete removal from everything that O-Block represented in terms of struggle and scarcity. The life Tasha Bennett is living right now looks nothing like the life she was living before King Von's name meant anything outside of Chicago. And when you understand exactly how that $20 million came together, where it came from, what it represents, and what it has made possible, the word insane does not even begin to cover it. But real quick, if you're serious about winning in the rap game, I put everything I know into one ebook. I'm talking how to actually grow an audience from zero, how to get labels reaching out to you with deals, and even how to get paid in this industry without ever touching a mic. And nah, it's not too late. People love to say the wave passed. It didn't. New artists and new hustlers are blowing up every single day, and the ones eating are the ones who started now instead of waiting. It's only $39. That's a few cups of coffee for a blueprint that can change how you move in this game forever. Links in the description bio, go grab it. Then let's get back to the video. Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome back. We are going all the way in today on the story of Tasha Bennett, the woman King Von put everything on the line for, the woman he made promises to when he had nothing, and the woman who is now living proof of exactly what it looks like when a rapper from the bottom actually builds something that lasts. We are talking about the inheritance, the properties, the lifestyle, and a transformation so complete that people who knew Tasha from the O-Block days would not recognize the life she is stepping into now. Because the distance between where she was and where she is today is not measured in miles, it is measured in millions. So check it, fam. Strap in, because you need to understand every layer of this to truly appreciate just how insane it really is. Tasha Bennett, known to the world simply as Tasha, is the woman who raised Davon Daquan Bennett on the south side of Chicago in one of the most unforgiving environments this country has ever produced. She raised him through the kind of circumstances that break most people before they ever get a chance to dream. O-Block, the neighborhood that Von would later immortalize in his music, was not a backdrop. It was a reality. It was where families struggled to hold themselves together against poverty, violence, and a system that had long since stopped pretending to care. And through all of it, Tasha was there. She was the constant. She was the person Von leaned on during the stretches when the streets were winning, and the future looked like it was not promised at all. She largely stayed out of the spotlight. You did not see her doing interviews or showing up on blogs. She was private. She was grounded. But her name became impossible to separate from King Von's story once he exploded, and especially once the world lost him. Now here's the thing about their relationship that people outside of Chicago do not fully appreciate. Tasha was not just a parent in the traditional sense. She was survival. She was the reason Von had any sense of loyalty baked into his bones, because he watched her hold it down with almost nothing. And that experience, that particular kind of pain of watching your mother struggle and being powerless to stop it, became the engine behind everything he eventually built. Every bar about getting his family out, every verse about making it mean something, every dollar he stacked and every decision he made about owning his music and protecting his assets, all of it traced back to what he watched his mother go through and the promise he made to himself that it would not always be like that. So let's talk about how Von got to that level, because you cannot understand the value of what he left behind without understanding exactly how fast and how hard he climbed. Davon Bennett started turning heads in Chicago through raw authenticity and a reputation that preceded every bar he ever wrote. His connection with Lil Durk and the Only the Family movement gave him the platform to go nationwide. Projects like Grandson Volume 1, LaVon James, and Welcome to O-Block did not just put numbers on the board. They established King Von as one of the most gifted storytellers in the history of Chicago rap. His ability to construct a scene, to pull you inside the moment, to make you feel the tension and the grief and the adrenaline all at once was unlike anything the genre had seen in years. He did not just rap about the streets. He documented them. He gave the people who lived it a voice, and he gave the people who never experienced it a window. That dual appeal, the authenticity that speaks to people from the same world and the storytelling craft that speaks to people far outside of it, is what separated King Von from his peers and what continues separating his catalog from the hundreds of other drill projects that came out during the same era. Most of those projects aged. Vaughn's did not. Listeners were not just streaming his music, they were living inside his stories. And that kind of rare, deep connection between an artist and an audience is exactly what makes a catalog worth tens of millions of dollars when all is said and done. But here is where it gets real, fam. Because before we get into the estate and the properties and everything Tasha is sitting on today, we have to go back to where it started. We have to talk about the moment King Von showed the whole world exactly who he was as a son. It was one of his first major rap checks, the moment the money got real. And what did he do with it? He did not go buy chains. He did not go throw it in the club. He went straight to his mother. He surprised Tasha with a brand new home. He pulled up with the Mercedes-Benz, and he handed her $20,000 in cash. Just like that. No ceremony, no announcement, just a son keeping a promise he had made to himself a long time ago. That moment became legendary among his fan base because it was not a flex. It was a fulfillment. It was Von saying, "You held me down when I had nothing, and now that I have something, you will never struggle again." Fans celebrated that story for years, and it was only the beginning. On November 6, 2020, King Von was shot and killed outside an Atlanta nightclub following an altercation. He was 26 years old.
APD says the gun battle took place in 3 different spots near Trinity Avenue, where a total of 6 people were shot. 3 have died. One of them, a rapper Davon Bennett, who goes by the stage name King Von. GBI says King Von and a group of men left Opium nightclub and went to Monaco Hookah Lounge early Friday morning.
The hip-hop community was devastated in a way that felt different, because Von was not just popular, he was positioned. He was at the exact point where the biggest chapters of his career was supposed to be written. His death stopped all of that in its tracks. But what he left behind was not nothing. What he left behind was a fully constructed financial foundation, a catalog, real estate he had acquired, and a family he had already set up before the worst ever happened. So let's get into the $20 million, because this is the part that makes everything click. King Von's estate is built on several major pillars, and when you stack them all up, 20 million is not an exaggeration. It is actually on the conservative end of what his legacy represents financially. The first and most important pillar is his music catalog. His management publicly stated that King Von owned 100% of his masters, and that claim has been repeated consistently across interviews, articles, and industry commentary surrounding his estate. If accurate, it makes his recordings one of the most valuable long-term assets connected to his name. And that distinction matters enormously, because most artists who come up the way Von came up, through the streets, through independent buzz, through building a fan base before the labels came calling, end up signing deals that hand those recordings away in exchange for upfront money and distribution. Von either resisted that or negotiated around it. Either way, the result is an estate that keeps the full economic value of his recordings inside his family rather than inside a corporation. That means every stream on Spotify, every play on Apple Music, every view on YouTube, every sync license, every commercial placement, every sample clearance, every future compilation, every posthumous release, all of it flows directly back to his estate rather than to a record label taking the majority cut off the top. His catalog was generating significant streaming revenue while he was alive, and it has not slowed down since. In the months following his death, streaming numbers exploded as the entire hip-hop world went back through his catalog from the beginning. New fans discovered him, old fans revisited him, and every single one of those plays added to a revenue stream that feeds directly into the estate that Tasha is connected to. When you look at the long-term value of a catalog with that level of sustained streaming power, with master ownership keeping the revenue inside the estate, the numbers land deep into the multi-million-dollar range. The catalog alone accounts for a massive portion of that $20 million figure, and it keeps appreciating every year that his music stays relevant, which by every metric available is exactly what it is doing. The second pillar is real estate, and this is where Tasha's current lifestyle starts to come into full focus. Let's zoom into what those properties actually look like, because the real estate side of this story is one of the most concrete ways to understand just how far things have come. The home King Von bought for his mother was situated in a quiet residential area outside of the city, the kind of neighborhood where the daily weight of O-Block simply does not exist. It was a fully furnished, move-in ready house, the kind of place that most families in O-Block dream about reaching but rarely do. Vaughn did not hand her a key to some modest starter situation. He made sure she was comfortable. He made sure she had space. He made sure the property reflected what he felt his mother deserved after everything she had endured. And because that purchase happened while he was alive, with his own money paid outright, there was no financial complication when he passed. The house was hers, clean, secured, done. Real estate connected to King Von's legacy did not freeze in place when he died either. Property appreciates over time, and what Vaughn purchased for his mother years before his passing is worth considerably more today than it was when he handed her the keys. When you add up the current market value of the properties tied to his estate alongside the streaming catalog, the royalty income, the licensing revenue, and the publishing rights, $20 million is not a ceiling, it is a starting point. Now let's talk about what Tasha's actual day-to-day life looks like, because this is the part that makes people stop scrolling. The woman who once navigated the financial pressure of raising a family in one of Chicago's most dangerous zip codes is now sitting inside a completely different reality. She is not worried about bills. She is not working a job to keep the lights on. She is not doing the month-to-month survival math that defined life in O-Block for so many families, including hers. She lives in a spacious, well-maintained home in an area that feels like a different world compared to where she came from. She has access to financial resources that most people from a former neighborhood will never see in their lifetimes. She travels. She attends events honoring King Von's memory without having to calculate whether she can afford the trip. She moves through life without that suffocating background noise that people who grew up without money know all too well. That constant mental calculation of checking prices before you reach for something, putting things back because the math does not work this month, sitting across from people at dinner and quietly panicking about the bill before it even arrives. That noise is gone, permanently. It does not come back in bad months because there are no bad months anymore. The estate does not have bad months. It has consistent months and stronger months. And both of them look the same from Tasha's side of the table, which is the side where the bill is not a source of anxiety. The Mercedes-Benz that Vaughn gifted her was not the ceiling. That was the floor. Because once the estate took over and the royalty stream started flowing, the level of access and comfort available to her shifted to something most people can only read about. And fam, here is what makes the lifestyle truly insane when you really sit with it. It is not about one flashy purchase or one big moment. It is about the permanence. It is about waking up every single day knowing that the financial foundation beneath you is not going anywhere, that it is actually growing, that the checks keep coming whether you do anything or not, because the catalog keeps streaming and the real estate keeps appreciating, and the estate is structured in a way that turns King Von's artistry into a perpetual income machine. That is what generational wealth actually looks like up close. It is quiet, it is consistent, it is permanent. And coming from O-Block, coming from the south side of Chicago, coming from the environment that Vaughn poured into every bar he ever wrote, that kind of stability is not just insane. It is a complete and total transformation of what life is allowed to look like for everyone connected to her. The posthumous releases expanded that picture even further. After November 2020, King Von's team continued releasing music with care and intention. Each project reignited conversation, brought new streams, attracted new listeners, and kept his name in active cultural rotation. His Spotify numbers have remained strong year after year. His YouTube catalog keeps accumulating views on videos that have been live for years. And the way his fan base engages with his music posthumously is not the kind of passive listening that fades over time. People go back to his catalog the way people go back to books they love. They share it. They debate which project is his best. They introduce it to friends who were not following hip-hop when he was alive. That active, passionate, ongoing engagement is what keeps a catalog commercially alive long after the news cycle moves on. Every single one of those listeners is contributing to a revenue stream that flows back to his estate. It never stops. It compounds. And Tasha sits at the center of all of it. The streaming numbers back all of this up in black and white. King Von regularly pulls millions of monthly listeners on Spotify alone, years after his passing. That is not a number that holds for most artists after death. For the majority of rappers who pass away, there is a spike in the immediate aftermath driven by grief and tribute. And then the numbers gradually decline as the news cycle moves on and the fan base ages out. Von's numbers did not follow that pattern. They stabilized at a level that most living artists would envy. which tells you everything you need to know about the quality and durability of what he recorded. Individual tracks like Crazy Story, which he did with Polo G, and the Welcome to O Block remix featuring Polo G and Lil Durk have individually crossed hundreds of millions of streams. When you add up the play counts across his entire discography on every platform simultaneously, the numbers are staggering, and every single stream is generating royalty income that flows into the estate. On a platform like Spotify, artists typically earn somewhere between 3 and 5 thousandths of a dollar per stream. That sounds small until you multiply it by hundreds of millions of plays across dozens of songs across multiple platforms over the course of multiple years. The math turns into serious money fast, and because his management stated he owned his masters outright, the percentage coming back to the estate is dramatically higher than what a traditionally signed artist would receive. The label is not taking the majority. The estate keeps the lion's share. Every single time. Merchandise is another revenue stream that gets underestimated in these conversations. King Von's image, his likeness, his name, his O Block identity, these are commercial properties that continue generating income through official merchandise drops, anniversary releases, and fan-driven demand. His estate controls those rights. Every official piece of King Von merchandise that moves, every shirt, every hoodie, every commemorative release adds another layer to the financial picture that Tasha's current lifestyle is built on. It is consistent, and consistency across multiple revenue streams is how $20 million becomes $30 million over time. The wrongful death lawsuit filed against King Von's estate by the mother of FBG Duck did something unintentional but significant. It pulled back the curtain on just how substantial the estate's financial position really is. When opposing attorneys pursue an estate in court, the financial value of that estate becomes part of the public record in ways it normally would not. The legal proceedings put King Von's name, his estate, and the word millions into headlines simultaneously and repeatedly over a long stretch of time. Every article that covered the litigation reminded the public that there was serious money connected to King Von's legacy. Every headline that associated his estate with a dollar figure kept the conversation alive. And for the viral content ecosystem that feeds on celebrity wealth stories, that coverage was fuel. Clips got made, videos got posted, the narrative about what Tasha inherited got bigger with every news cycle. What that litigation ultimately made clear was that King Von's estate is not small, not simple, and not fading. It is a significant, ongoing, revenue-generating entity worth fighting over in a courtroom. That reality only reinforced what his fan base already suspected, that Von built something real, something that did not die with him, something that continues standing and generating and supporting the people he left behind. The generational impact of what Von built extends beyond just Tasha too. The entire Bennett family orbit has been elevated by what he created. Siblings, extended family, people in his immediate circle who might have otherwise been grinding through the same cycles that O Block produces generation after generation. King Von's success did not just lift his mother, it created a financial environment around his family that changed the trajectory of multiple lives simultaneously. Think about what that means for the next generation. Coming up in that family, they are not starting from zero. They are not starting from the same deficit that Von started from. They are starting from a foundation that their uncle, their relative, their family member built with his artistry and his ownership decisions. The kids in that family are growing up with options that O Block historically does not hand people. And that is because Von was thinking beyond himself even when he was still in his early 20s, still building, still in the middle of his rise. That foresight, that instinct to protect and preserve rather than just spend, is what separates the artists who change their family trees from the ones who make money and watch it disappear. Von changed the tree, permanently. And because the estate is structured around long-term assets rather than short-term cash, that elevation is not temporary. It does not disappear when the hype fades. It continues building because the foundations he laid were built to last. By all accounts, Tasha and the family have approached the estate with the same intention Von brought to building it. The focus has been on preservation and longevity rather than burning through the wealth in ways that would undermine what he built. The catalog is being managed, the royalties are being collected, the real estate is being maintained, and King Von's name is being kept in cultural conversation through tributes, anniversary events, and the continued promotion of his music, which keeps new listeners flowing into the catalog. which keeps the revenue machine running. That is not an accident. That is a deliberate approach to making sure that what Vaughn created continues to compound rather than peak and fade. A lot of artists' estates fall apart within a few years because the people managing them make short-term decisions that kill the long-term value. They flood the market with unreleased material too fast. They license the music to the wrong placements and dilute the brand. They let family disputes pull resources into legal fights instead of reinvestment. King Von's estate has avoided those traps. The catalog has been released carefully, the brand has been protected, and the financial machinery Vaughn set in motion before he died has been allowed to keep running the way he built it to run. When fans who grew up knowing the Bennett family from the neighborhood or from following King Von's come up see where Tasha is now, the reaction is always the same. It is equal parts joy and disbelief. Joy because she deserves every single thing that Vaughn built for her. Disbelief because the contrast between O Block and where she sits today is so stark, so complete, so total, that it almost does not feel like the same story. But it is the same story. It is just the chapter that comes after the breakthrough. The chapter Vaughn was writing for her from the moment he decided he was getting out and he was taking his mother with him. That is ultimately what makes this story so powerful and so worth understanding in full. King Von's $20 million estate is not a celebrity gossip headline. It is the documented outcome of a young man from one of the most dangerous blocks in America deciding that his mother's suffering had an expiration date, and then going out and engineering that expiration with every smart decision he made about his music, his ownership, and his assets. He was 26 years old. He had already set his mother up with property. He had already handed her cash from his first real check. He had already made moves to retain ownership of his recordings in a way that most artists twice his age had failed to do. And the estate he left behind has continued doing exactly what he built it to do. Generate, grow, protect the people he loved. The lifestyle Tasha is living is insane. The properties are real, the money is real, the transformation is permanent. And every single day that it continues, it is a tribute to a son who refused to let the streets write the final chapter of his family story. And that story does not end. It keeps going because the catalog keeps streaming, the estate keeps generating, and the woman who raised Davon Daquan Bennett through everything O Block threw at them both is now living a life that proves his promise was not just words. It was a blueprint, and he built every single piece of it before the world ever got the chance to take him away. The cars, the house, the masters, the royalties, the financial security that runs on autopilot. Because he made the right decisions when it mattered. Every layer of what Tasha has access to today connects directly back to a choice Vaughn made, a sacrifice he put in, a deal he structured, a promise he refused to break. So when you see that headline, King Von's mother inherited $20 million and the way she lives is insane, understand that every word of it is earned. The inheritance is real. The insanity of the lifestyle relative to where she started is real. And the son behind all of it, the kid from O Block who decided poverty was not his family's permanent condition, he made sure of that before anyone even knew his name outside of Chicago. That is the full story. And it is so much bigger than a number. What do y'all think about the legacy King Von built for his family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives like this, 1, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss what we drop next. Stay tuned.